Greetings. This is Justin Allen, the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. I'm sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take a measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today, we'll be talking to Kristen, who is a dual certified family and psychiatric nurse practitioner. Currently, she is working in her own psych practice full-time, where she focuses on eating, substance, and mood disorders. The revenue in her practice has stagnated, and she is having issues with growth. She's needing assistance marketing her practice and increasing her patient volume. She's wanting to focus on growing the eating disorder arm of her practice and is needing help developing a passive income stream. Hey, Kristen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for hopping on this call. So bring us up to speed with where you're at. I guess you started your own practice about a year ago. So tell us how it's going.
Sure. So I started it 2 years ago. The first year I was still working at the hospital full time. And then I went off a year ago. I went off full time with my practice. Like looking back, I think probably I was a little bit too quick in doing so. I have just really barely making ends meet. That's for sure. My revenue has just been stagnant the whole 12 months that I've been full time on my own practice. I added SEO. I've been doing that for 5 months. I've done pamphlets. I've done, in-person networking. I've joined committees, Facebook, social media. So despite all of that, people tell me to be patient, but I just feel like there's something that's not clicking in my SEO. Like I'm listed on the first, second page in my community. So I don't know if there's something they're not converting, I don't know if it's my website or so that's the issue.
Okay. Let's just get some foundations down here. So is this telemed or brick and mortar?
I do both. I'm hybrid. Yeah.
You're a hybrid model. Okay, good. I like hybrid models. I think that's kind of where, honestly, I think that's the future of practice. A mixture of both, I think, is probably the ideal model. Okay, so then you say that your revenue was stagnant. Now, what do you mean by? I'm surely to God you're not making the same money you made the first month that you are now.
Oh yeah, no. So I would say, for example, I'll just throw numbers out in between about 15 to 17,000 a month
in revenue. Right. That's gross revenue.
That's gross. Yeah.
Gross. Right. So how much are you netting out of that? Like what's your profit?
I'm not very good with accounting or anything like that. So because I'm doing everything on my own, I feel like I'm just literally coming up for air. I have not been good with like my books, honestly, my accounting. So.
Well, it's not complicated. I mean, what's in the bank account? What's left over after the month after you pay everything off?
I would say about 4,000 or 5,000.
About 4,000 or 5,000. So you're probably making about $5,000 a month then, profit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Are you paying yourself anything out of this practice or?
I have not yet. Literally my only expenses really is the SEO is 300, my rent, my lease is 500. Gosh. And then I probably have another 200, 250 just amongst like my EMR and my phone and all that stuff. So my expenses aren't horrible.
Wait. So if you're making $17,000 a month, how are you only seeing $5,000 if your expenses are only a couple $1,000s? You should be making $10,000, $12,000 a month.
So, and I am, it's just that I put some into my, and maybe this is wrong, but I put some into my personal account and then some into my business account.
Well, yeah. So you're paying yourself.
So then I guess I'm paying myself.
You're
Yeah.
paying yourself. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So with that said, how much do you think you're actually making a month? Profit, like
Wow.
expenses are paid. What's left over? How much are you paying to put in your personal account? How much are you keeping in the business account? Like, it sounds like it's probably close to $10,000 at least.
It's probably 12 or 13.
About
Yeah.
12 or 13. So you have a profitable practice here. Okay. That's not bad for your first year. Okay. So
Right.
let's just put that out of the way right now. Like that,
Okay.
you're doing pretty good for, 1 year. Okay. So when did it start stagnating? When did you hit that $17,000 a month revenue? And then how long has it been?
I want to say May. So May, June, July, August, September, 6 months.
So in reality, it stagnated over the last 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. This happens sometimes in businesses, especially these little practices. It eventually hits a plateau and then, you just don't really move much from there. And so that's kind of how, salaries are determined from a small practice like this. The only way you're going to grow this thing is increasing patient volume, increasing revenue, increasing basically how much you earn per patient. Okay.
Okay.
So how much money are you making per patient? How are you going to increase that number? So remember, it's always cheaper to increase revenue and market to established patients versus obtaining new patients. Always cheaper. Okay. So it's always cheaper to increase the lifetime value of your current patients versus getting new ones. So how do we first and foremost increase your revenue off of your established patients already? So that would be one thing that we could focus on.
Okay.
And then focus on, obtaining new patients. All right.
Okay.
So let's focus on those two things first. So do you accept insurance?
I do not. No.
You do not. Okay. So you're seeing 15, 20 patients a week, cash only?
Yes. Yeah.
Very impressed. For a psych practice, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I guess I compare myself with, I feel like the Midwest, I'm in Chicago, we're a little slow to do anything, honestly. And I'm licensed in Washington, Arizona, and it's much normalized to be cash only out there. So I feel like I'm a little slower than my colleagues out West, but
I know people in the Midwest who are killing it with cash practices.
Really?
It just depends on what services you're offering and, those kinds of things. Yeah. I think that's just a limiting belief to believe that. Okay. So I don't think there's really, so don't worry too much about that. I think that, if you're in the Chicago area, you're talking about millions of people are within probably an hour drive from your practice. Okay. An unlimited amount of patients here, essentially. Okay. So you have practically infinite growth potential here in reality. There's no way you could ever see 1 million patients, right? But for your practice, you have a very, very large amount of growth here. So what services are you, that you could offer into this to increase that lifetime value of the patient? What are your thoughts on that?
Right. Every other Sunday night, I do a 75-minute group for eating disorder. It's an eating disorder recovery group, one for adolescents. And then this week, I just started one for adults. So that would be 2 groups. So basically, it would be 1 group a week. And each person is paying $125 for that 75-minute group. But I only have three people in each group. So, I'm making more than my hourly rate, but not by much.
Is there a demand to increase that?
There is. It's just that people, because therapists this group, I'm very clear. Like, you don't have to be my patient. Like, but there is no discussion about, I don't give advice on medications. This is strictly more of like a therapeutic side to it. So therapists can run these for like $50. I feel like maybe I need to go down lower and then I would have more volume in the group. I don't know. But many people have been turned away because of the price.
No, I'd say no. I wouldn't lower your price. Unless you hear people complaining about that, it's too much. Maybe next time. If you're not hearing those kinds of things, then I don't think I would lower your price. Don't do that. The price of everything else is going up. Why drop? So I guess how many people could you realistically host in one of these?
Probably for everyone to be able to share and talk and do the activity, I would say maybe 7, 8.
7 or 8. So then I think one of your goals should be to, completely max that out.
Okay.
Now, this is more or less a coaching kind of thing versus you're giving medical advice.
Right. It's not like, oh, I just come here to talk about my problems. It's we go through a workbook and it's basically like behavioral skills.
Okay. So then you don't really need a license to do this if it was more or less a coaching kind of a thing then.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then you could try to pivot here and, you could try to maybe market this online to see if you can maybe start getting some people in other states to join. I mean, I'm assuming this is like a Zoom call thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So then this is location independent. So you might want to maybe consider trying to figure out a way to obtain more clients for these sessions outside of the standard practice model here. So what you could do, and this would be free, it would take a little bit of your time, but it would be free. You could go and try to join maybe some Facebook groups or some message boards or those kinds of things about eating disorder and
Mhm.
get in there and provide some free value, kind of answer people's questions and whatnot.
Mhm.
And then you can always just link out, hey, we have a call every Sunday evening. I'd maybe love to bring you aboard, whatever, and just post it in the Facebook group or whatever, these eating disorder groups. And
Mhm.
you might be surprised.
Yeah, I know. Are you talking eating disorder groups? Because there are eating disorder professional Facebook groups, and then there's
Where
a
the
huge.
where the
Mhm.
people are, where the clients are with the eating disorders. That's where you want
Yeah.
to go.
So I feel like a lot of those are for parents. Like that's where
Okay. Well, why can't you help them?
no, I can. Like
Right.
that's.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that wouldn't take that
Mhm.
much of your time. Like it would literally take, hop in one of those groups 15 minutes a day, answer some questions, give a little advice here and there, and
Mhm.
just start dropping links.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
The other
free.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The other thing is, and I don't want to copy any of these other, again, these are therapists that are doing this, but I have the certified eating disorder specialist specialization, which took me 2 years to get, which a lot of therapists have that as well. Most psychiatrists don't. Some have it. So I'm like just searching in Arizona and Washington about what other therapists are doing for like courses. And there's a lot of like binge eating disorder, basically online courses for recovery for patients. So it's like, who knows, a month-long course for $500 or something. And I guess I'm kind of like asking, like, how do you just tweak it? Like, I don't want to copy someone else's course. I
You
feel
design
like,
your own course. I mean, you know how to treat these people, you know how to help them. So design your own course.
okay. I
Yeah.
feel like those are people I refer to, so it's like, then I competitive. Yeah.
Right. So what? Like it's your business. Stop
Yeah.
referring that. Yeah, yeah. Stop giving that money out to other people.
It's true.
Create your own little course about eating disorder, self help kind of a thing, and yeah, pivoting off of this whole group calls or whatever. You can
Mhm.
make a business in itself of eating disorder help. And so
Mhm.
by that, I mean, you would do something similar, kind of like what I do with Lead NP is that you would have like a, blog or you would record videos, create a
Mhm.
website, that kind of a thing about helping people with eating disorder. And then, yeah, you create a little course about it and you go into these Facebook groups and you start, leaving comments and whatnot. And you just start being, just start engaging with that community. And then, you'd be surprised what that could potentially turn into.
Okay.
So that'd be
Okay.
something, but that's honestly, that's kind of a separate business. That's a totally separate business.
Yeah.
Like
I
that would
mean, this
be,
is just me right now. I mean, I do everything. The only thing I outsource is SEO. So,
right. Well, that would be if you want to pivot onto that, have your own blog and recording
mhm,
videos and that. I mean, that's it's a separate business from what your practice is. And I would keep those two things separate.
separate. Okay.
Yeah. If you've taken the coaching consulting course, like I'm literally like, this is what I talk about. And
Okay.
so if you want to pivot off that, I think that'd be invaluable for you. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if you want to pivot and do that, I would say it needs to be a separate business and everything like that. But listen, that's one more income stream. That's another business. So
Mhm,
just making you fight more and more financially strong. Like it's just making you more
mhm,
financially redundant. It's making you stronger and stronger, right?
mhm,
So now you have that
mhm.
income source. Now you have your income source from your practice. You're becoming practically financially invincible. You know what I mean? One business fails, you have the other one for backup. And so then it just doubles your income streams. That's just going to accelerate your financial independence. So I would say it's probably not a bad idea.
How does that work? Like, because obviously I have this LLC of my one business. So what do? I just
Just form another LLC.
form another LLC and then name it something else, or
Name it the name that you want to do for this whole eating disorder
okay,
coaching business or whatever. You know what I mean?
okay,
The online eating disorder institute or the
okay,
online self-help eating disorder expert, like just whatever. I think it just needs to have that
right,
eating disorder in it,
right,
right.
right.
And just name an LLC out of that, form it out of Wyoming, and then just operate out of it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, that's all I would do. I wouldn't worry about it. Like, yeah, but just form that, get another bank account, you're ready to go. That separates out your liabilities.
Okay.
And plus, it's good from a tax perspective too. Now you have something else, that has different expenses and
Okay.
write-offs and those kinds of things. Yeah.
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 Okay.
So that would be something you could think about doing. in terms of increasing the lifetime revenue, lifetime value of your actual patients, what are some cash services that, additional things that you could implement into it? Now, you tell me that, you want to do maybe more group sessions and stuff, but what about doing some more passive things? I mean, you are an FNP as well. So like you will have essentially unlimited scope here.
Exactly.
And so why not pivot here and start offering some other services that not only will help improve their mental health, but improve their physical health. So, things like, weight loss or things like HRT and those kinds of things. I mean, it's completely within your scope to do it, and it's cash, and it's kind of a partially passive income, especially when they start paying you on a monthly basis for it.
It's true. One of the things that we don't have here in Chicago, I don't know if they have it in parts of the country, is like ADHD testing and like, well, I don't know if it's internationally, but in Illinois now, an FNP has to assess a patient before a psych provider can prescribe stimulants. So I was trying to see how I would increase my prices, because when I see any type of patient, I order a full set of labs. A lot of times for my ED patients, I'm ordering a DEXA scan, EKG, things like that. So I don't know if that's more billable. Like, am I able to increase my prices because of those orders? Or
Well, I mean, it's a one-stop shop. It increases patient satisfaction. So I would think that you probably should be charging a premium for that.
Okay.
I would be happy to pay an extra $100 for that if I had to go dick around and go to my primary care provider and do that stuff first and then come back to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would. Other people will too, I'm sure.
So do you, for a cash only practice, some people are, and at least here, like they're very like, will you charge me for this and for that? And I'll charge, $75 for the orders for this. Or do you?
Yeah. Well, this is why you have subscription-based things.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. Like this is why I hammer it in every single course I have. Subscription-based pricing. It just improves patient satisfaction and it prevents exactly what you're hearing complaints about.
Yeah.
Nickel and diming.
Yep.
Patients do not like that. They don't. Oh, now you're charging me for this. Now you're charging me for that. Geez, now what else do you want to order for me so you can keep charging me? You know what I mean?
Right.
So instead of that nickel and diming kind of stuff, you just put people on a straight fee, subscription-based price that gets billed automatically every single month, and included in that are the services that you're already providing. Yes, you will have some patients who will drive you crazy and you'll wonder if this price is worth it. But the majority of them, it's easy going. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
So you might have to really rethink how you price this stuff, and, based on the subscription thing. So ultimately what it comes down to is what's your time worth and how much does, a monthly fee come out to, and how much time you're having to put into it and that sort of thing. And then also plus, what other services you could add on to it, So, like if someone was extremely malnourished or something with an eating disorder and they really need to put some muscle mass on or some weight or whatever, what's preventing you from doing a little bit of, some testosterone or something? I mean, a lot of those synthetic testosterones like nandrolone and whatnot are approved for cachexia and things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it is they get upset. Like if I'm collaborating, talking with a therapist for 30 minutes, like I'm going to bill for that. Then they, obviously get upset. Or if I'm reviewing genetic testing for 45 minutes, I'm going to bill for that. So yeah, I think it's going to be hard for me to
Well, okay. So whatever you charge for the genetic test, part of that fee needs to be it just needs to be the review as well. Hey, listen, I really want to do some genetic testing on you, and it's going to cost $250 or whatever. The genetic testing company charges you $120 or whatever, and then that extra $100 is for the review. You know what I mean?
It's actually separate though. Like the genetic testing for psych is like a separate company. So the money goes straight, like it's $300. It goes straight to them.
Do they bill you or do they bill the client?
They just bill the client.
Can they not bill you?
No, sure they can't. Yeah.
They can't? That's weird. Yeah, usually they can just bill you.
Yeah, it's they bill insurance like a couple $1,000s for this test. And then so they're making their money with what they bill insurance.
Right.
Some practitioners will charge to review it. Others don't.
Well, I mean, you can't be doing this stuff for free. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you really have to figure out here, how much is your time worth, and how much, what kind of different tier subscription programs can you have? Can you have a tier program that's just for standard basic psych, med management, that kind of a thing, $75 a month or whatever? For
Hmm.
$150 a month, we can include genetic testing one time. And then on top of
Hmm.
that, whatever else it may be. And then $250 a month can be a weekly group session plus med management. Like you're going to have to sit here and break this stuff down and figure it out,
Okay.
and it has to be worth your time and it has to, be profitable.
Right. I think I would feel a lot less stressed if I had a subscription model.
Yeah. And it's automatic payment. It comes in every month. It's
Yeah.
great. And it kind of turns into a little bit of a partially passive income. You can always kind of count on that money coming in. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's great.
So if someone wants to cancel, what do you say? Like 30 days notice, or I don't even know if they would want to cancel, but
Whatever. If they cancel, they cancel.
yeah. Okay.
Stop seeing them.
Okay.
Oh, you haven't paid for this month. Sorry. Like, here's a 30-day refill. Goodbye.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that will help a lot. I think both those ideas will really help.
Yeah, I think those are really good ways to do it. And then just like I said, then be thinking about some other services that you can offer utilizing your FNP,
Yeah.
HRT, weight loss, whatever it may be that you could add into it that you think that your patients would enjoy. I mean, your patients. What is it that you could do to, improve their health, their well-being, their satisfaction, but also improve the bottom line of your practice? So you just
Right.
got to sit there and think about it. Maybe start offering like little surveys or something for the next month or two to your patients and see kind of maybe
Yeah.
what they'd be interested in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Always listen to your patient. What is it that they want?
Yeah.
So,
Well, that works. Yeah. Cause I feel like at least now, some of the patients, they'll all get them stabilized, they're psychiatrically stabilized, meds are good. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, why am I paying $180 for a 30-minute session with her when I'm feeling great? She fixed me. And so then they just go to their PCP.
yeah, that's kind of one of the issues with a cash practice sometimes.
Yeah.
If you are providing them, though, excellent concierge care,
Hmm.
very, very convenient care,
Hmm.
a lot of the times people see the value in that. They don't want to give it up.
I think that many patients do. I think it's just I hate to use the word cheap.
Yeah, there's cheap ass people out there. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. They're very,
It blows my mind what some people will do to save $10. Like it's completely
yeah.
irrational. That's just part of the game here with a cash practice case. So don't worry about that. That literally happens to every single cash practice out there,
Yeah.
unless it's a service that's not covered by insurance. And so that's why I am an advocate for things that aren't covered by insurance for a cash practice.
Such as,
Things that aren't necessarily FDA approved for given indications,
okay.
or things that are alternative in nature, or
Yeah.
things that are borderline, so to speak. Like, for example, with testosterone replacement therapy. So let's say a guy comes in, has all the low testosterone symptoms in the book, and
Mhm.
we do his lab work. His total testosterone's 320. Well,
Mm.
insurance won't pay for it unless it's under 300. And the range is 300 to 1200. So, 320, come on, give me a break. Like, really? I mean, those 20 points. So now it's not his testosterone, instead it's in his head. It's completely ridiculous. Insurance won't pay for that though. So they pay cash for it.
And ketamine. I don't think ketamine is.
Ketamine insurance is paying for it sometimes.
Okay.
Right. So that just depends. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a huge cost. And it's like, those are things where, it's like, I'm not really wanting to hire tons of people. And,
We didn't need to hire people for that.
it's true.
Yeah, ketamine's pretty simple. You were talking about how you want to kind of develop a passive income stream. So, if you had ketamine infusion days, for example, all you got to do is do the evaluation of the patient, be in the office, and then you have a registered nurse, to be monitoring the patient during the infusion. I'd obviously get a nurse who has, some ICU OR experience or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, that would be another passive income stream that you could do. I mean, partially passive. I mean, you still have to kind of be there, but
Right.
you have an RN sitting there making you money.
It's true. Yeah. These are all good ideas. Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much you can do, It just depends on what it is that you want to do. So, like, I mean, what do you envision this thing turning into? I like to say that if you could get 25, 30 patients a
Mhm.
week, I mean, what is it do you just want to keep doing the same thing that you're doing?
No, I mean, I don't know how big I want to grow or like bringing on more NPs, things like that. But I really do like the course idea of, whether it's one or two groups and then actually just having a revolving course that will bring me in passive income.
Right.
Um,
If you decide to go that coaching course route, you can do that yourself. Okay. You don't need
mhm.
to hire people to do that. That could be your little side project. It doesn't take a tremendous amount of time to do that. It does up front. Takes a lot of time up front, but once it's
Mhm.
kind of set up and whatnot, it's really not that difficult. You have to provide some content, hop in the Facebook groups, the message boards, the forums, whatever it is, and then develop, a new course, every once in a while, maybe once a year or every 6 months, for eating disorders. That's just something that can just be more or less a side project for you. Then your practice can be more or less your foundational base income. And so, so you could, so if you want to continue doing pretty much what you're doing now and just grow patient volume, hiring another NP probably would be a good idea.
Yeah.
You don't have to create a super complicated practice. Okay. That's what you should not do.
I want to keep it simple. Yeah.
Right. Keep it simple as possible. Maybe offer a couple more services and then just leave it there. Okay.
Right.
And then your job as the business owner is to increase volume to get more people to walk through that door. That's going to be your job. And then you have another nurse practitioner seeing those patients.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. That's how you're going to grow this thing. Only way.
So with like the course, like who helps you develop like logistically, like the online course? Like who do you hire to help you with that?
You don't need to hire anybody. Just do it.
Really?
There's nothing to it.
Oh, God.
Especially when it's a course that you're designing specifically for clients. This doesn't have to be accredited. You're just selling this to people to help them with their eating disorder. You're not providing them medical advice. You're not prescribing them anything. You're just giving them life advice, essentially, on how to break out of their eating disorder. For something like that, it doesn't need to be licensed. It doesn't need to be accredited. It doesn't need to be any of that stuff.
Okay.
Like I said, I talk about all this in that course.
Okay. I'm going to sign up for that course.
Yeah, like seriously, I talk about all of that in that course. Okay. So yeah, I really would advise taking that course because it really breaks. I talk for like 5 or 6 hours in that course. There's no way I can give you everything over a 30-minute call. You know what I mean? Yeah. So don't worry too much about that. Just follow the advice in the course and you should be able to get that built. And then what you should do is start trying to increase the patient volume of your practice now and maybe consider hiring a part-time nurse practitioner.
Down the line. Okay.
Yeah. How many hours a week are you working right now?
Gosh.
At your practice?
Yeah, not that much. Maybe 30.
30 hours a week.
I'm still putting in, I'm doing everything. So I'm still marketing and all, all the other stuff. But yeah, I would say 25 to 30 of patient contact.
Okay. And then the other amount of time, probably spend maybe 10 hours a week on
marketing,
administrative stuff, marketing, that kind of thing.
Admin stuff. Yeah.
So you're probably doing a lot of busy work.
I'm doing a lot of busy work. Yeah.
Right. So your time is not going to be worth that anymore very, very soon. If you decide to open up, the course online eating disorder business and then hiring another NP, like your time is going to become a lot more valuable exponentially. So you don't need to be doing this busy work. So if I was you, if you have the financial resources, I would start outsourcing some of this busy work, like your bookkeeping and whatnot.
Okay.
Just hire a bookkeeper or have your accountant do it or whatever. It's worth $150 a month. It's worth it. Okay.
What about people writing the thing that I have a hard time with is I hired someone to write my blogs or things like that. And I'm like, no, this is not the way
you can't. No. You can't hire someone to write content that you are specialized in. Like you can't hire someone to do that for you. You're the expert.
Exactly.
You have to do that.
A lot of NPs are doing that. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of psych NPs that they're like, well, just hire someone to, write your blogs. And I'm like,
and have you gone to those people's websites and go to their practice's website and it's like blogs and you like read it? It's like the most generic, non-value producing bullshit there is. I just read that stuff. I'm like, this is garbage.
Right.
That's what you get hiring some person who's not even in the medical field or some medical assistant who decides they're going to start writing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what you get. You get crap. If you truly want to build a business based off of content, you are the content expert. You need to write that stuff. I write almost everything on the Elite MP. You need to be writing that stuff. And if you're not a very good writer, you just start practicing.
And I do now. It's just sometimes I feel like for blogs, like I edit it, then re-edit it, and I overthink it. And
no. Just write it, do a quick little 1-over edit and post. Go. As long as it's not broken English and,
Right. Yeah.
So pick a subject in your mind and then write about it. 500 words. That's it. That's all it's got to be. But it's got to provide value. Can't be crap. So that's what I would do. All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all Elite Nurse Practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and that other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode. From an SEO standpoint, just really subpar blog posts work fine for your practice's website because people probably aren't clicking on those. They're
Right.
probably not really reading those, right?
Right.
It's just increasing your Google rankings because there's a bunch of keywords in it.
Right.
That's fine. But for something like what you want to do with this eating disorder thing, you truly need to be the one writing that stuff.
How does that work with like SEO and rankings? If I have a lot of therapists, even in other states, that want to, I guess, use my blogs or reference my blogs. So do I just like give them my blog? Hey, you can post this on your website, or
As long as they reference and link it out, yes.
okay, so they have to reference and link it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Otherwise, it's plagiarism. Or if you give them permission, it's really not plagiarism. But I mean, what do you get out of it?
Right.
Nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there better be a link out. For more information, visit Kirsten's website or whatever it is. And then they go to your website and go, oh, wow. Okay, cool. Maybe I should schedule a call with Kirsten.
Got it. Okay.
Right. Or, oh, wow, she's got a course. Let me check that out. Right.
Right. Yeah. A lot of substance abuse therapists want me to do educational blogs on, naltrexone or things like that. So
if you enjoy doing that, then do it. But it's not an income producing activity.
I felt like it would be though, because if then they click on my link, they're like, oh,
sure.
like,
If there's right. But if they click on your link and then there's some sort of income generating activity that's associated with that, when they click on the link, can they schedule a call with you? Can they schedule a visit with you? Can they? Then sure, that's fine. That's marketing.
Yeah.
Right. So like I said, I'd say just take that course. I literally walk you through it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it right now.
Yeah. Like seriously, it's worth it. I mean, that's honestly, it's probably one of my best courses. Like I truly put a lot of effort in that course. So like it's a fantastic course. You'll love it. Yeah. You want to talk about increasing patient volume or marketing your practice, getting an MP in there, or because you said it's stagnant.
It's stagnant. It's not growing. So I don't know at what point you decide you're able to hire, another NP, even if it's just part-time. I just get a little nervous with like being responsible for someone else's income,
Well, you don't hire them full time.
Okay.
You can't justify hiring someone full time right now. If you did, you'd make no money.
And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that I'm going to have to work like a lot to pay for her. And so.
No. Okay. So you always pay in production base. So it's no risk for you.
Okay.
Don't hire someone to come in full time and give them a salary or even part time.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing you want to do is hire an NP to sit there and, be twiddling their thumbs while, you're paying them to do nothing. No. It's a business. You know what I mean? Right. You don't have millions of dollars in the account to burn through, This is a tax write-off for you. Mm-hmm. So you pay them production only.
Okay.
$50 a visit or whatever it is. You figure out those numbers to make it worthwhile for them and worthwhile for you. Typically, that number is about 40-50% of the collection of that visit.
Okay.
That's typical. All right. Now, if you have a subscription-based model, let's say the patient's paying you $150 a month, NP's only seeing them every 3 months. You pay the NP $50 for that 15-minute follow-up visit, and you just made, $400?
Oh, wow.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So kind of keep that in mind. That's why subscription-based model and paying another NP production works great.
So in order to like get those numbers and to really, that's literally something like I have to do just like strictly maybe with another person there, but I'm really the only one who can figure out if this is going to make sense, like financially.
It's your business. You're the only one who's really going to know. Yeah. You have to just sit there and break it down. So right now you're making, $120,000 a year, give or take. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you're working 40 hours a week, that's about $60 an hour. Okay. So that's how much your time is worth now. Mm-hmm. So there's no way you're going to charge a patient $60 for an hour consultation, are you?
No.
No way, right? So,
Right.
how much is your time actually worth here? Because a lot of the time you're spending right now is on busy work,
Hmm.
So, how much is your patient face-to-face time worth? It's probably closer to $100 an hour right now. That's probably about how much you're generating.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is my 30-minute follow-up is 180 and then my hourly rate is 300. So
But you're not seeing patients every single 30 minutes and every hour.
no. Mm-mm.
Right.
Right.
Right. If you were, if you working 10 hours a day, that's $3,000.
Right.
Right. But you still have to chart and you still have to do other things.
Right. Yep.
Right. So what you need to do is you need to figure out how much your hourly rate is, how much your hourly worth is for face-to-face time. That sounds like $300 an hour.
Yeah.
So how many hours a month do you spend with the patient? An hour?
And how many hours?
30 minutes? Yeah. How much time do you spend per patient per month?
So it's the thing that's hard is it depends. Some
Right.
patients want to see me once a week. Some want to see me, every third week or every month.
So that's why you have different tiers. So tier one is one visit a month, $300. Tier two is two visits a month. Let's say $550. Always give a little bit of a discount as it goes up.
Okay.
You want to see me weekly for hour-long sessions, like you need that much help, it's $1,100 a month or $1,000 a month.
Okay.
That includes weekly visits plus whatever little things you want to add on.
Okay.
Yeah. See what I mean?
Right.
That's how you create the subscription program.
Oh my gosh, that's so much better. Okay.
It's easy. Don't complicate it. There's nothing complicated about it.
Right. What if you have patients that are existing that are like, I don't want to do that. I want to stay with.
Then just grandfather them in. It's better to just kind of appease their needs and just satisfy their needs versus losing them. Just grandfather them in. But all new patients, this is the model.
Yes. Okay.
You have to sell them on it though, the new patients. $1,000 a month sounds like a lot of money, but you already have patients paying you $1,200 a month because they want weekly visits, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. So those people exist.
Yeah. Okay. So basically showing them that they're actually saving money.
Correct. So what you do is that you break it down for them. You have to sell it to them. Let me say, normally my rate is $300 an hour, but I don't like charging people hourly because I don't want to sit here and nickel and dime you. So instead, I have these subscription programs. For $300 a month, you get 1 hour visit with me a month. If we go over a little bit, not a big deal. You know what I mean? And, if you need intensive one-on-one once a week, normally it's $300 an hour. So that would be 4 visits a month. That's $1,200, but we give a discount. It's $1,000.
Okay.
Discount there. That's how you sell.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So I think if you set it up that way, I think it would work great. Yeah.
Okay.
So try it. Just experiment with it.
I think that'll work. Yeah.
I think it would work great. And then you get with your payment processor, set up automatic monthly payments. You put the credit card on file every single month, just automatically pays out. Piece of cake.
Okay. The
Any other
last
questions
thing,
there?
I don't know if I've actually had patients that I haven't been that assertive in the beginning. I would just I would run the credit card like during our session for new patients. But I've had a couple new patients that they'll book out like 3 weeks from now and then they'll cancel like the day of. And so I don't have the paperwork completed. I don't have their credit card on file yet. And so obviously I lost that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a waste of your time.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you have them, because it is cash only? I have some psych MPs when they schedule, they actually they'll run like the receptionist or whoever runs the credit card in order to actually schedule.
I would have a $50 retainer fee or something.
Okay.
Be like, we are booked out 3 or 4 weeks, our schedule, like, we only got these 3 appointment times available in the next 3 weeks. You want it, it's $50 to secure the spot. That's just to prevent, save my time for other patients that need the help and you don't show up or, that's just to protect me and my patients. Just
Right.
explain it that way. Yeah.
All right.
No, I think it's a good idea to do that. Definitely. At my men's health practice, we require lab work to be done first before the visit's even scheduled. So if they get blood work, they're pretty much committed.
It's true.
Yeah, like every once in a while. I'm talking about a couple times a year. Someone will do their blood work and not show up. Like that very rarely ever happens though. If they do their blood work, they're committed. So that's how we prevent that. We require the blood work done first and then the visit scheduled. So if you do require blood work on every single new patient, you could do something similar and then you could kind of get around the whole, we require money to book. Some people aren't very keen on that.
Oh my God, I know.
Right. So if you do the blood work thing instead, then fine. I mean, it's 5 minutes of work for you to write an order and give it to them. Go down to LabCorp or whatever.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
that's a really good idea. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just patients are just like they're very I don't know, they're just it's the money thing that, you're charging me for this and charging me for that. And that's the biggest pain I have right now.
well, problem solved with a subscription program. Now they're not feeling nickel and dimed.
Yeah.
Like for, like at my men's health clinic, I have a guy who comes in every 3 to 6 months or something like that. He's been a paying patient for like 3 years.
Mhm.
He just gets, monthly, bill him $160 a month or whatever it is for his testosterone and, B12 and maybe some Clomid or some,
Mhm.
tadalafil or sildenafil or whatever. And
Mhm.
then he pays every month for it. But every 3 to 6 months, his plantar fasciitis just gives him one hell of a time. And he comes in, takes me 5 minutes to inject a little bit of some lidocaine and some dexamethasone into it. Boom, it fixes it for 3 to 6 months. I don't charge him for that. It's no sweat off my back. It takes me 5 minutes and costs me a whole whopping $5,
Right.
right? But the satisfaction, he's a patient for life.
Sure.
And the word of mouth that he generates is invaluable.
Yeah, I feel like I get more like frustration from I mean my Google reviews are great, but I sense that there's this like you need to see me in 3 weeks. What? Like and I feel like I want to create more patient satisfaction, not like you know what I'm saying? Not dissatisfaction because of the cost.
Right. Convenient care. That's
Right.
the whole thing about cash practices. It has to be convenient. It's one of the most important factors, one of the determining factors with a cash practice. If you're booking out 3, 4 weeks and patients are getting pissed off over it, then it is time to hire another nurse practitioner.
Oh yeah, no. I'm booking out maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm getting them in really quick. I think their frustration is like, you build me, and they sign the policies. They know that I bill for this or that. And I think they're so focused on the money that I'm not sure, but
I know it
they're,
makes sense. Subscription based program will fix it.
yeah.
Yeah. Like it literally fixes it. They're not getting nickel and dime for stuff anymore.
Well,
Right.
and then I don't feel resentful because a lot of times I don't want them to get upset. So then I'm like, fuck, I'll just sorry to cuss, but fine. I'll just not charge you for XYZ. And then I get resentful. And it's just, yeah,
Right. No, it doesn't go. It's not good for anybody. Yeah. You're gonna have to just figure out your cost and figure out what's important and what's not. I mean, does this genetic test really tell you a whole lot?
No, I mean, I typically use it if like we've done a couple trials of an SSRI and,
I got it.
those trials have failed, or I'll use it for an adolescent, actually more for peace of mind for the parent, if it's their first medication, but I don't typically use it that often.
So you just offer it
Yeah.
as more or less, do you want the peace of mind for this test? If
Right.
not, we can just keep trying different SSRIs, SNRI, RIs, whatever it is until one clicks, or we could do this and might give us a little bit more information about it. Or if you have an adolescent or something and the parents want to pay for it, then fine, just offer it. People shouldn't get pissed off about that.
Right.
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 Like this test costs $300. I can't, you have to pay for that test.
Right.
So, things like that, give them the option, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much I believe in it because with two different companies, I've had completely different genetic test results for some patients. So I take it with a grain of salt, but sometimes, it's helpful for them and sometimes it is helpful for me in making clinical decisions, but it's just another tool
Right. Just another tool, right? And an unnecessary one. You just offer it if they want it.
if they want it. Right.
Correct. And that should be the majority of it. What I mean? That's why the base subscription rate should cover the majority of what it is that you do, like 90% of what it is that you do.
Right.
Either 10%, they're accessory services that if they want to pay for them, great. If they don't, whatever. At my men's health practice, testosterone replacement therapy, those kinds of things, like basically testosterone replacement therapy and the visits. That is like 90% of what we do. Either 10% are accessory things, weight loss, peptides, whatever. So the same thing with you. You have to determine what is 90% of what it is that you do. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Typically, you're going to get 80% of your results from 20% of your effort. So like what is it you're doing here? Like 90% of what it is that you do should be pretty much the foundation of your practice. So though that 90% should be included in that subscription-based program.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is probably what? Med management, some therapy, some visits. That's pretty much it, right? A lab review, whatever.
Well, and at least for me, like a lot of emails, if it's more than 15 minutes of my time, I tell them that I'll bill for these emails. And that's where I feel like I need boundaries around because some of these patients want me to make changes to their meds. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you clinical feedback. We're not going to be making changes to meds over email,
Right. So that would be just a quick phone call. But if you're doing a
Right.
concierge thing, they're paying you $1,000 a month. They really are going to expect that kind of service.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Right.
no. But if someone's coming in once a month and they're paying $180 and I'm getting like emails almost weekly,
Right. I mean, you're always going to have people like that.
I
You
know.
just are. Welcome to healthcare. I mean, you're always going to have people like that. There's no way around it unless you just discharge them, Yeah. I mean, I have patients like that drive me absolutely crazy. Like, oh my God, could you just leave? Like, you are so high maintenance. Like,
Yes, I
it's
know.
not worth it, Choose your battles wisely there.
It's true.
Yeah. So, any other questions?
No, that answers everything. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I like to end the episode with you asking me a question. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah.
Yep.
How long did it take you to get where you're at now with your business? All your businesses, actually.
Let's see. So it is 2022, 2017, 2018 is really when I first got started, like the end of 2017. So, 4 or 5 years. I mean, it takes time. I would say that it took about a year to really start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like it took about a year to finally have those curtains, taken off my eyes basically, and like seeing the light, so to speak, like seeing the potential of what a business truly could do.
Mm-hmm.
After about a year or so, I'm like, wow, like I'm making really good money. And this is just a little side gig. But why the hell would I ever pick up another shift in the ER ever again?
Right.
Why would I?
Right. Yeah.
And so it took about a year for that. Then it took about 2 years to really start generating some significant money, like $20, $30, $40,000 a month kind of thing. You're just like, God, man, this is crazy. And then really year 4 or 5, just really the last year and a half, 2 years, it's just been financial freedom and the trajectory has just accelerated. I mean, it's just gone up significantly, exponentially. Like I was able to pay off all my debt, pay off my mortgage, just start investing so much more money. Right. It snowballs and then it snowballs rapidly. Like the snowball forms slowly, then it starts gaining momentum down the hill and it just grows and grows and grows faster and faster. And that's how it happens. So you're just in the infancy stage here, 1 year. That's it.
Yeah.
And so like if you did some of the stuff that I was telling you about, developing another income stream and hiring another NP and that kind of thing, you're going to see that snowball effect. You're going to see it grow. And especially if you're focused on paying off your debts and those kinds of things, it skyrockets. Like when you don't have debt, car loans, or if you don't have a mortgage, like, do you understand how much money you can save? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just skyrockets. And so it took about 5 years to get there. And it took 5 years of a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
It's not
I can
easy.
definitely see you put in a lot of work. So
Yeah. It's not easy. I mean, running a business is not easy at first, is it?
No.
No, it's not. But it should get easier as time goes on, though. So just keep that in mind. Like if 3 or 4 years comes down the road, and you're still killing yourself, you're doing something wrong. Yeah. So that's why you start building those passive income streams. That's why you start delegating work and hiring other people.
Okay.
Once you do that, it really truly does skyrocket, and you get back that most valuable resource, which is time. You start getting back your time, and that's awesome. When you start having more and more free time and more money, it's kind of crazy how it works.
Yeah. My son is like, no, wait a minute. I thought you left your full-time job because you were going to have more time with me. And I'm like, I'm always at my computer and always,
Right.
So
It's hard to shut it off, isn't it?
it is very hard to. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to be present.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that's part of the sacrifice. You're doing things now that most people would never do. So you can do things that other people will never be able to do in the future, right? You're sacrificing it now, and then you'll have this amazing life a few years from now. It's worth the sacrifice. It really is.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, that's it. Thank you so much, Justin.
All right, you're welcome. Keep me up to date. I really would like to know how this is working out for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, take care.
Okay. All right. Bye.
All right, bye. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed the conversation with Kirsten. That was a really solid episode. She sounds like she has a really solid psych practice. She started this thing about a year ago. She's already up to almost $10,000 a month in profit. That's pretty impressive. She's her own boss. She works on her own terms. She doesn't have to deal with all the insurance headaches. And she's making just as much as she probably would, working for someone else, maybe a little bit less. But she will be making a lot more in the next 6 to 12 months, as long as she starts building those other passive income streams. So I think that's really the key here is figure out where the revenue sources are in your business. How can you increase the long-term value of each patient? So instead of getting more and more new patients, figure out how you can increase the value of each patient so it's a lot cheaper. And then also figure out what is another revenue source that you can, in my opinion, I think it's best to have 2 to 3 businesses. You start with one, then you open another, and then you open up another. When you have your first business built, the second business is easier, and the third business is even easier than that. Once you build those kind of revenue streams, you become financially independent. You build yourself a financial fortress. You're basically impenetrable. I mean, there's no way all 3 businesses are gonna fail at one time. The chances of that are slim to nothing. So if you're listening, you're truly motivated to break free, you really should consider maybe opening up multiple business over a period of 3 to 5 years, okay? But first focus on this first business and get it going and get it profitable. I think Kirsten will be able to do that once she hires another nurse practitioner and once she builds this eating disorder kind of coaching course business. I think that'll really blow up, and she'll be helping a lot of people all over the country. So I think it's a really solid idea. I think she'll get there, but I think it'll probably take her a year or 2 to really gain that momentum. All right, well, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcast. The content of this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2022 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.